Okay, so this is the part where I have to, or where I want to demonstrate cutting. Of course, I know you already, most of us here already know how to cut, okay? But let me just quickly tell you what I do, and I just think it might be helpful to someone out there, okay? So, if peradventure you have a pattern like this and you want to cut it, I mean, you want to draw it on your material and cut it out. You see, from this point, it is very technical, or it will be very easy for you to uh, draw on top of the material than behind the material. I think that is like uh, one of the most commonly taught thing, that you draw at the back part of the material. Let's say this is the back now, this is the front part, this is the back. Okay, you you are probably familiar with drawing at the back like this, but let me just show you uh, one thing. I draw on the very front part of the material. That's why you have this shape right here. I drew this already here. The significance is that you'll be able to tell if there's any blemish on this surface of the leather. Okay, so there are some leather that the surface, they don't come smooth. Okay, you have some parts, this part might have hole, or any kind of funny blemish can be on the surface part of the leather. If you draw at the back, you most likely might not be able to gauge where that part will fall. Okay, that is why sometimes you draw at the back. By the time you are done cutting, you now turn, then you see, this thing is here, and it might affect the overall beauty and quality of your work. So I would advise that you draw on the surface of the leather. Okay, that's one reason. All right. So after drawing on the surface of the leather, and meanwhile, when you are drawing on the surface of the leather, you should use this thing, whatever you call it in your at your end. Just look for it. Maybe it's called silver pen or gold biro or something, or erasable biro. Draw on the surface of the leather. After drawing on the surface of the leather, you want to cut it out. Let me show you one mistake that uh, we always make. Okay, when we want to cut, it's either we are cutting with scissors that are not sharp, or we are cutting with scissors that are sharp but we don't know how to handle them. Apart from the handling of the scissors, there's actually where to cut on the material. Come, take a look at this piece right here. You can see the silver pen marking there. The silver pen, the width of the silver pen alone is about uh, 1.5 millimeters. Okay, it's very small. This is the width of the silver pen from here to here. Look at the mouth. It's quite a bit thick, thicker than this kind of barrel. Okay, so the silver pen is thick. So when you want to cut this material, you have to make sure that you cut off the entire silver pen. Okay, so let me quickly demonstrate uh, the different method of cutting. Now you can cut like this, and this is the part you want to cut, this is the part you want to use, and you have some people cut something like this, and by the time they are done cutting, you see the silver pen is not even on the one they are cutting away, it is on this part right here. What this will do to you is that it will expand uh, the pattern. Okay, because this one has its own width. I don't know if you are getting it. This one has its own width. By the time you cut all round and there's this silver pen on what you are cutting, you can be sure that what you are cutting will be bigger than your pattern. The same thing happens when you want to copy pattern. Okay, let's say I have this pattern and for any reason I just have to copy it, or maybe during the process of the interpretation you will draw it, then your biro mark will still be on the next one you are drawing. Imagine drawing, keep copying, and the biro mark is always on top. Then by the time you do that for 10 times, you can be sure that the 10th one and the first one will not be the same. Okay, so when you cut, it is very crucial for you to take uh, accurate or adequate measure to ensure that this silver pen mark that you see here, by the time you are done cutting, it should not be here. Okay, it should be on the part you are cutting away. Okay, this is one where all the silver pen is here. Another one is to cut and cut in between the silver pen and cut in between the silver pen so that you have like half part of the silver pen here and the half part of the other the silver pen also on this one. Okay, that will reduce the width that you are trying, that is that will have been added if you cut and the entire width of the silver pen is there. Okay, another one is to, and that the most accurate one is to actually cut the entire silver pen away. So let me demonstrate that to you. Cutting the entire silver pen away, you can see this, the silver pen is here, everything about the silver pen is here, while on this part you can, there's no silver pen mark here. But if you cannot be this careful enough to cut in such a way that all the silver pen mark will be on this one, I advise that you just do like, make a little bit silver pen remain here. Okay, because if you are trying to cut off the entire silver pen and you end up cutting part of this one among this one, it won't be really nice that you did a cut like this. It means you are reducing your pattern. So you have to practice cutting. You have to practice how to cut. Okay, and one more thing, when you cut, uh, if you are just starting, there's a tendency that you want to cut like this. You want to cut like this. By the time you cut small, you open, you cut again, you open, you cut again, you open, you cut again. It will be of help to you to know that when you cut, just open your scissors and cut everything once. If your scissors is sharp enough, it will cut it. If your scissors is not sharp enough, then there will be a point where it will be sharp up to. Then when you get to that point, you can open again and keep cutting. Okay, so don't cut small small, small small. Cutting small small will give your cutting uh some rough edges. Okay, while opening your scissors and doing like a straight cut, bam bam bam, will make it will give you like a really straight line cut. I hope I've made some sense with this. You might think this is very insignificant, but I can tell you, little things like cutting alone can add a lot of beauty and neatness to your work. You will agree with me, if your cutting is not straight, it can be a turn off for some clients. And it's not as if you just do a shoe and everything will just be perfect. When you want to do a shoe, everything is imperfect. You just have to remove each imperfection. When you are drawing your pattern, there's imperfection already. Remove the imperfection, then you move to the next imperfection, then you move to the next imperfection. You keep removing them until it's just like solving problem, until you get to the final result. So if you are not able to remove the imperfection of uh, doing a straight cutting, by the time you are done, that will be like something a professional will see, and they can easily tell you are not a professional. So to keep your professionalism high. Make sure you cut straight. uh be good enough to cut on the surface so that you just know everything going on the leather when you want to cut it. When you cut from the back, you have no clue whether this part has some scratches on it. Okay, sometimes you'll be able to see it. And another good part is if you purchase a wide surface leather, by the time you get home or to your office, if there's a blemish here, around here, just circle it. Just you can just circle it, and it will give you a clue when you want to draw anything on top that okay, this part is bad. Always make sure you watch out for the bad part of the leather before you draw on it. It has a lot to do with the neatness and the quality of your work. So I hope I've made some sense. Let's move on to the next one.